What would you do if a poor maid suddenly punched a billionaire to save his life? In the heart of Lagos, one brave maid defied wealth, power, and danger. And what happened next shocked everyone. Watch till the end to see the truth revealed, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more unbelievable stories. The city of Lagos hummed with life. But far away from the crowded streets stood a mansion that seemed carved out of another world. It was the kind of place where the air smelled of imported perfume, and even the marble floors looked too clean to step on. Inside that mansion worked Amara, a young maid no older than 23. Her hands were rough from washing endless dishes, yet her eyes carried a strange calm, the kind that only comes when you've known struggle all your life. Every morning she woke before dawn. She would look at the city skyline from her small servant room and whisper to herself, "One day, Mama will live in a house like that. Not me cleaning one." The mansion belonged to Mr. Donovan Cole, an American billionaire tech investor, proud, impatient, and dangerously confident. He had come to Nigeria for an ambitious real estate and technology project. Everyone who worked for him called him Sir, not out of respect, but out of fear. Amara was different. She didn't fear him. She respected him, yes. But somewhere deep down she felt sorry for him too. He lived in a glass palace, yet his eyes looked hollow. That morning, the sky outside was heavy with rain clouds. Amara was wiping the marble table in the dining room when Chief Adewale, Mr. Cole's Nigerian business partner, entered. He was a big man with a smooth voice and eyes that never smiled. "Girl," he said coldly, "make sure the study room is spotless. Mr. Cole will be holding a private meeting tonight." Amara nodded silently, but as she turned away, she caught a glimpse of the two men's reflection in the window. They were laughing, the kind of laughter that hides secrets. She didn't understand their world, but something about Chief Adewale always made her uneasy. Later that evening, thunder rolled over the mansion. The power flickered, and the sound of rain hitting the glass walls echoed like whispers. Amara moved quietly through the corridors, carrying a tray of tea and coffee for the meeting. Inside the study, Mr. Cole and Chief Adewale were seated near the fireplace, surrounded by documents and glowing laptop screens. "Tomorrow, we sign the final deal," Adewale said smoothly. "You'll be a richer man than you already are, my friend." Mr. Cole smirked. "I already am. I just like seeing the world catch up." Amara entered quietly, placing the tray near the table. Neither man looked at her. She bowed slightly, waiting for permission to leave. That's when she noticed something strange. Chief Adewale's hand brushing over Mr. Cole's cup just before he stood up. He smiled at her in a way that made her skin crawl. "You can go now, girl," he said. Amara nodded, but as she turned to leave, a chill ran down her spine. Something didn't feel right. In her small servants' quarters that night, she couldn't sleep. The thunder outside seemed to whisper warnings. She thought about the cup, the way Chief Adewale's hand lingered near it. "Maybe I'm overthinking," she muttered to herself. "People like them. They don't need saving from people like me." But somewhere deep inside, a voice answered, "Sometimes they do." And in that moment, the rain grew louder, like the world itself was holding its breath for what would happen next. The night had turned wild. Thunder cracked across the Lagos skyline like the earth itself was angry. Sheets of rain hit the mansion's windows, blurring the city lights into silver streaks. Inside, the servants whispered prayers. No one liked working when the storm came. But Mr. Donovan Cole didn't believe in storms. He believed in control. He sat in his luxurious study, a room filled with glass walls, bronze sculptures, and the faint smell of expensive whiskey. He leaned back in his chair, staring at the rain. His mind was full of numbers, contracts, and profits. To him, life was a game of power, and he always won. Across the table, Chief Adewale smiled politely. He poured himself another drink, his gold wristwatch flashing under the chandelier. "To our partnership, my friend," Adewale said. "Tomorrow the world will know we built an empire." Mr. Cole lifted his own glass but didn't drink yet. "Empires don't just happen, Chief. They're taken." They both laughed, But behind that laughter hid something else. Ambition. And betrayal. Downstairs, Amara stood near the kitchen door, holding a tray of fresh coffee. Her heart beat faster than the rain outside. She didn't know why, but her chest felt heavy, like something terrible was about to happen. The thought of Chief Adewale's smirk earlier haunted her. The way he touched Mr. Cole's cup had burned into her memory. Tunda, the tall security guard, noticed her standing there. "You okay, Amara?" he asked softly. She hesitated, then whispered, "Do you ever feel like something bad's coming?" Tunda frowned. "In this house, always. Just keep your head down." But Amara couldn't. She looked toward the study doors again, the muffled voices of the two men mixing with the rumble of thunder. Inside the room, Chief Adewale leaned closer to Mr. Cole, his tone smooth but sharp. "You trust me, don't you?" Mr. Cole chuckled, not noticing the faint shimmer in his drink. "Of course. You're my best man on the ground here." "Good," Adewale said quietly. "Then we have no reason to fear each other." Outside, lightning flashed. White, blinding. Amara flinched. The tray in her hand trembled. A moment later, the intercom buzzed. "Bring in the coffee," Mr. Cole ordered. She took a deep breath and walked in. The room smelled of whiskey, smoke, and danger. Amara set the tray on the table, her eyes darting toward the glass Mr. Cole was reaching for. Her pulse spiked. That was the same glass. The one Chief Adewale had touched. "Sir, wait," she began. But before she could finish, Mr. Cole lifted the drink toward his lips. Something inside Amara snapped. She didn't think. She just moved. With a sharp cry, she dropped the tray and lunged forward, swinging her hand straight across his face. The sound echoed like gunfire. The billionaire's glass flew from his hand, shattering across the marble floor. For a split second, everyone froze. Chief Adewale's face twisted in fake shock. Tunda, hearing the noise, burst into the room with his gun half drawn. Mr. Cole touched his cheek, disbelief flashing in his eyes. "Did you just hit me?" he said slowly, his voice cold with fury. Amara stood trembling, tears mixing with rainwater dripping from her clothes. "Sir, I didn't mean to hurt you. Security!" Mr. Cole barked. "Get this girl out of my house!" She tried to speak, but the guards grabbed her arms. Chief Adewale stepped forward, shaking his head with mock concern. "Such ungrateful servants these days. She could have killed you, Donovan." Amara's voice cracked as she cried out, "No, sir! I saved you. There was something in that drink. Please believe me." But no one listened. The thunder swallowed her voice as the guards dragged her away, her bare feet slipping on the marble floor, and behind her, Chief Adewale smiled, a slow, cruel smile only the storm could see. The storm didn't stop that night. It roared like the heavens themselves were angry at what had just happened inside that mansion. Amara was thrown into the servant quarters, soaked in rain, her face pale with fear and disbelief. She sat on the cold floor, shivering, not from the storm, but from what she had just done. "I hit a billionaire. I hit him," her heart pounded. She didn't even understand where that strength came from. One moment she saw death in that cup, and the next, her hand was flying across his face. Outside the door, the guards whispered to each other, "She's finished. They'll lock her up for assault." No one slaps a man like Donovan Cole and keeps her job. But Amara didn't care about the job anymore. She only wanted him to live. Meanwhile, in the grand study, Mr. Cole stood before the shattered glass, his jaw clenched. His cheek still red from the blow, he couldn't believe it. In all his life, through Wall Street deals, press conferences, and private jets, no one had ever dared touch him. And tonight, a maid, a poor African maid, had punched him in the face. Chief Adewale stood by his side, shaking his head like a disappointed father. "Donovan, I told you, these people can't be trusted. She must have been trying to harm you." Mr. Cole frowned. "She said she was saving me." "Saving you?" Adewale laughed coldly. "From what? She dropped your drink, attacked you. You saw the anger in her eyes." Cole turned toward the shattered glass again. The smell of whiskey filled the room. The drink was gone, wasted across the floor. Something about it bothered him. but he was too angry to think clearly. "Fire her," he said flatly, "and make sure she never comes near this property again." Adewale smiled slightly. "Consider it done." Minutes later, the guards dragged Amara into the main hall. Her face was streaked with tears and rain. She saw Mr. Cole standing near the staircase, his eyes cold and distant. She fell to her knees. "Please, sir, I didn't attack you. I swear I saw something wrong with your drink." "Enough," Cole snapped. "You hit me, Amara. You don't talk your way out of that." "I did it to save you," she cried. "Chief Adewale, he—" "Careful," Adewale interrupted, stepping forward with a fake hurt expression. "You're accusing a respected man of something criminal." Amara's voice trembled. "I saw you touch his cup." "Lies," Adewale hissed. "You think this girl's word means anything?" Mr. Cole turned away, tired of the chaos. "Get her out." 2 guards grabbed her again. She struggled, screaming, "You're making a mistake. He's not your friend, sir, he's—" But her words were drowned out by the thunder outside. As the gates of the mansion opened, rain poured down like punishment. Amara was pushed out into the storm with her small bag and torn slippers. She stood there soaked, watching the mansion lights blur through the rain. "You'll see the truth," she whispered, her voice breaking. "One day, you'll see." Inside the mansion, Chief Adewale watched from the window, his smile widening. He poured himself another drink, this time from the same poisoned bottle. He looked at it for a moment, then whispered, "Smart girl." "Too smart." He raised the glass in mock salute toward the storm, but not smart enough to survive this world. And as the lightning flashed, the poison's shimmer gleamed again, unseen, untouched, waiting for its next moment. The next morning came with silence, the kind that follows a heavy storm. The sky over Lagos was pale and gray, the streets washed clean, but inside Mr. Donovan Cole's mansion, tension still lingered like a shadow that refused to leave. Mr. Cole sat at the breakfast table, sipping his coffee. His cheek was still faintly bruised where Amara's hand had struck him. He tried to ignore the sting, both physical and emotional, but it kept replaying in his head. That girl's eyes, the way she shouted, "I saved you," before being dragged away. It didn't make sense. Across the table, Chief Adewale appeared calm, dressed in a crisp agbada, his gold watch gleaming under the morning light. "Donovan," he said with his usual smoothness, "forget that girl. These people make up stories to escape consequences. She's probably already back in the slums, telling everyone you're a monster." Mr. Cole didn't reply. He just stared into his coffee cup, this one poured freshly by another maid. He didn't drink it right away. Something inside him hesitated. Meanwhile, Tunde, the security guard, couldn't shake off what he had seen the previous night. He had known Amara for years. She wasn't the type to attack anyone, let alone the master of the house. Something didn't add up. When he went to the security office, the CCTV operator was out for breakfast. The screen displayed a dozen camera angles, hallways, gates, kitchens, and the study. He rewound the footage to last night's time, 10:47 p.m. He saw Amara enter the study with a tray, saw her talking, and then the punch. The glass fell, chaos followed. But something strange happened next. When Chief Adewale walked up to the camera, his hand brushed the desk below it. And the footage flickered. Then it cut off. Tunde frowned. That wasn't normal. He opened the digital archive, trying to access the backup file. Error message, footage deleted by administrator. His stomach dropped. Administrator could only mean one of two people. The head of security. Or someone with higher authority. Someone wanted that footage gone. Later that day, Tunde found Mr. Cole walking toward his car. "Sir," he said cautiously, "about the maid, Amara, there's something you should know." Cole didn't even slow down. "I'm not interested, Tunde. The matter's closed." "Sir, please," Tunde pressed. "The CCTV footage from last night, it's been tampered with." Mr. Cole stopped. Slowly, he turned. "What are you implying?" "I'm saying someone didn't want you to see what really happened." Adewale appeared out of nowhere, his voice calm but cutting. "Tunde, I don't recall asking for your opinion." The guard stiffened. With respect, sir, I'm only doing my job, Cole sighed. Enough, I'm done hearing about this. She hit me, and that's all I need to know. Adewale's hand rested on Cole's shoulder, firm and reassuring. Good man. Let's focus on tomorrow's signing. The future, not the past. Tunde stepped back, his fists tightening at his sides. He knew what he saw. He knew Amara wasn't lying. But in this house, truth didn't matter. Only power did. That night, Tunde sat alone in the guard booth, watching the mansion lights flicker through the rain. He opened his phone, scrolling through the security log files. And there it was. 10:49 p.m. Manual override. Admin access. C. Adewale. Tunde stared at the screen, his heart pounding. Chief Adewale, he whispered. He looked out at the mansion, the same place that had crushed a poor girl's voice, thrown her into the storm, and pretended nothing had happened. Tunde made up his mind. He would find Amara and tell her the truth. Across the city, in a small tin-roofed house, Amara sat beside her sick mother, wiping sweat from her forehead. She hadn't eaten all day. Her job, her dignity, everything was gone. But then a knock came on the door. When she opened it, Tunde stood there, soaked again by rain. His eyes were serious. Amara, he said quietly, you were right. The drink, it was poisoned. Her breath caught. What did you say? And I can prove it. Lightning flashed behind him, as if the heavens themselves wanted to witness what was about to unfold next. Rain returned that night, softer this time but colder. It fell over the narrow alleys of Lagos where the poor slept with broken dreams and thin blankets. Inside a leaking shack, Amara sat by her mother's bedside. The small kerosene lamp flickered against the walls, making their shadows dance like ghosts. Her mother coughed weakly. You're crying again, she said softly. Don't. You did what you thought was right. Amara wiped her eyes with the edge of her scarf. I ruined everything, Mama. He thinks I'm a criminal. Then let him think, her mother whispered. Truth doesn't need to shout. It waits. Amara looked down, her chest heavy. She wanted to believe that. She wanted to believe that what she did, striking a billionaire, meant something. But all she felt now was loss. On the other side of the city, in the mansion of glass and marble, Mr. Donovan Cole sat in front of his laptop, signing documents for his billion-dollar deal. He should have felt victorious, but his thoughts kept drifting back to the maid's trembling eyes. Sir, please, I saved you. The words replayed in his mind like an echo he couldn't shut off. He rubbed his temples. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was nonsense. But for the first time in years, Donovan Cole wasn't sure he was right. Chief Adewale entered the office with a confident smile, holding 2 glasses of wine. To the future, my friend, he said. After tomorrow, Lagos will never forget our names. Cole hesitated before taking the glass. You're sure all the reports are clean? No bad press, no loose ends? Everything is perfect, Adewale said smoothly. Even your little scandal from last night is handled. The maid won't bother us again. Cole forced a small laugh, but his hand tightened on the glass. Handled how? Adewale smiled, the kind of smile that said, don't ask questions you don't want answered. Let's just say people like her. Disappear into the noise of this city. Meanwhile, at that very hour, Tunde was running through that noise. His motorbike splashed through muddy roads until he reached Amara's home. He banged on the door, rain dripping from his jacket. Amara, it's me, Tunde. She opened the door, startled. He stepped in, breathing heavily, holding a small flash drive. I found it, he said. Proof that Chief Adewale tampered with the cameras. Amara blinked in shock. How? The main file's gone, but I pulled the log data. Timestamps, access IDs. Adewale deleted it himself. Her heart raced. Then Mr. Cole, he'll believe me now. Tunde hesitated. I don't know, Amara. He trusts Adewale too much. You need more than proof. You need timing. Something big has to happen before he'll listen. Back at the mansion, Cole poured the wine into a crystal glass. But when the smell hit his nose, something about it felt wrong. He frowned and set it down. Adewale, you taste it first. Adewale chuckled. paranoid now, are we? Cole's eyes narrowed. No, just cautious. For a second, the chief's smile froze, but he recovered quickly. He lifted the glass and took a small sip. See? Perfectly fine. Cole nodded slowly, but doubt had already crept in. That girl's words, "I saved you," burned in his memory like a brand. Hours later, the storm eased, and silence filled the house. But deep inside the mansion's pantry, an old bottle of whiskey stood on a shelf, the same bottle Chief Adewale had used the night before. Next to it, the poison residue shimmered faintly under the flicker of emergency light. And in the quiet streets miles away, Amara prayed under her breath, "God, let him see the truth." Before it's too late, the wind howled against the tin roof, carrying her words into the night. She didn't know it yet, but fate was already turning, and by the next sunrise, everything in that mansion would change. Morning came dressed in gold. The storm had passed, leaving Lagos washed clean and glittering beneath the sun. The air smelled of wet earth and new beginnings, but inside Mr. Donovan Cole's mansion, something far darker was brewing. Today was the day. The billion-dollar deal. Investors, reporters, and local officials flooded into the marble hallways. Cameras flashed, champagne glasses clinked, and everyone smiled. Everyone except Mr. Cole. He looked sharp as always. Navy suit, gold cufflinks, that signature American confidence. Yet there was a flicker in his eyes. Restlessness. Doubt. As he walked toward the press conference room, Chief Adewale walked beside him, smiling like a king. "You should be proud, my friend," he said. "Today we make history." Cole didn't reply. His mind was miles away, in the memory of a frightened maid screaming, "I saved you." In a small room near the back of the mansion, Tundi stood watching the event through a live feed on a small monitor. He was supposed to be guarding the gates, but he had other plans. On the table in front of him sat a laptop, and plugged into it, the same flash drive he had shown Amara. He replayed the system logs again and again, reading the same name. Access override. C. Adewale. He clenched his fists. "You'll pay for this," he whispered. At the front of the grand hall, cameras flashed as Chief Adewale began to speak. "Ladies and gentlemen, today marks a new era of innovation, a partnership that will change Africa's future." The crowd clapped. Cole forced a smile, reaching for the glass of water beside him. His throat felt dry. He lifted the glass halfway to his lips, and then froze. The water had a faint smell. Bitter. Metallic. Barely noticeable, but familiar. Something inside him twisted. He glanced sideways at Adewale, calm, confident, watching him too closely. Cole set the glass down slowly. And then it hit him, a wave of dizziness, sharp pain stabbing through his chest. "Sir?" a reporter called out. "Are you all right?" Cole's hands trembled. The world around him blurred. His vision tunneled. The crowd gasped as he stumbled backward, knocking over the chair. "Call a doctor!" someone shouted. Chief Adewale rushed forward dramatically, holding Cole's shoulder. Donovan, stay with me." But there was something cold in his eyes, a flicker of satisfaction. Within minutes, chaos filled the mansion. Security scrambled. Guests panicked. Mr. Cole lay pale and sweating, his breath shallow. Tunde, hearing the alarm, sprinted through the corridors. When he reached the main hall, paramedics were already kneeling beside Cole. "He's poisoned," one of them muttered. Traces of something foreign in his system. Tunde's blood froze. He turned toward Adewale, who was now pretending to comfort the reporters, and whispered under his breath, "You did this." But no one could hear him over the noise. Hours later, at the hospital, Mr. Cole lay unconscious, hooked to machines. Doctors murmured about toxins and blood tests. When he finally woke, the first thing he saw was the ceiling light. And the second was the memory of Amara's terrified face. Her words echoed in his head. There was something in that drink. For the first time, the billionaire's certainty cracked. He whispered weakly, She was telling the truth. That night, in her small house, Amara was feeding her mother soup when the door burst open. Tunde stood there, out of breath, rain still dripping from his jacket. "He's alive," Tunde said. "But barely. The poison, just like you said." Amara froze, her spoon halfway to the bowl. "So he knows now?" "Not yet," Tunde replied. "But he's starting to doubt everything. He'll come looking for answers soon. And when he does, he'll come for you." Amara looked down at her trembling hands, the same hands that once hit him to save his life. Tears filled her eyes, but this time they weren't of guilt. "Then I'll be ready," she said softly. Outside, thunder rumbled again in the distance. Not from the sky this time, but from fate turning back toward justice. The sun had barely risen over Lagos, painting the city in soft amber light, but Mr. Donovan Cole was already awake. He could not stop thinking about the maid, the girl who had dared strike him, who had possibly saved his life. His face was still bruised from that punch, but what hurt more was the gnawing doubt in his mind. Chief Attawale's calm demeanor, the smooth lies, and the subtle hints of betrayal. It all started to unravel in Cole's mind. He paced the study of his mansion, a man accustomed to control, now haunted by the one person he could not control. "I need her," he muttered. "I need to hear the truth myself." Meanwhile, Amara was far away, in the heart of a crowded slum. Her mother lay asleep, her frailty visible under the dim light. Amara had spent the night praying, thinking about what had happened, her life, her choices, and the man she had saved. There was a knock at the door. She froze. "Who is it?" she called softly. Before anyone could answer, Tunde pushed the door open. His clothes were still wet from the rain, his face set in determination. "Amara," he said urgently. "He's looking for you. Mr. Cole. He's asking about you. He's trying to find out what really happened last night." Amara's heart skipped. Why now? After everything? "He's awake," Tunde said, "and he knows something isn't right. He'll come to you, but you must be careful. Adewale will do everything to stop him from listening to the truth." By mid-morning, Mr. Cole's private jet landed in a smaller airport near the outskirts of Lagos. He refused to take the limousine or the mansion's security detail. Only Tunde and a few loyal aides accompanied him. The city streets were chaotic, vendors calling, motorcycles weaving through traffic, pedestrians dodging puddles. But Cole moved like a man on a mission. Every corner of Lagos reminded him of the storm, of that night, and of the girl who had dared to save his life. "Where is she?" Cole demanded. "Find her. I need to see her. I need to understand." Tunde guided him through narrow alleys, past piles of market trash, past children playing in the mud. Finally, they stopped in front of a small tin-roofed house, the paint peeling, the walls tired from decades of sun and rain. Amara was sitting outside, washing dishes in a battered basin. Her back stiffened as she heard footsteps. She looked up. Her eyes met his. Donovan Cole, the billionaire she had once struck, standing in the doorway. Time froze. You came," she whispered. Cole nodded, stepping closer, but keeping his hands visible. "I need to know the truth," he said softly. "Everything you said, was it real? Were you really trying to save me?" Amara's hand shook. Yes, sir. I saw him touch your cup. I didn't know what he put in it, but I knew it would kill you if you drank it. I had to stop it." Cole's eyes widened. He swallowed, feeling a strange mix of guilt, relief, and awe. I owe you my life," he said. Before Amara could reply, a shadow fell over the doorway. Chief Attawale had followed them. His face was hard, his eyes cold. "Donovan, don't listen to her," he said smoothly. "She's manipulating you. She's just a maid." Cole turned slowly, facing Adawale for the first time without fear. And yet, Cole said quietly, she's the only one here who's honest. Adawale's jaw tightened. You're making a mistake. No, Cole said firmly. The mistake would have been ignoring her. And now, I will not. Lightning cracked in the distance, echoing the tension that had built up for months. Amara's heart pounded. She knew this confrontation could change everything. For her, for Cole, and for Adawale. The search had ended, but the battle was just beginning. The tension in the tin-roofed alley was palpable. Rain from the previous night had left puddles that reflected the rising sun, shimmering like fragments of light on broken glass. Amara stood beside her mother's small house, her fists clenched, her heart racing. Across from her, Mr. Donovan Cole faced Chief Adawale, whose calm smile had vanished, replaced by sharp anger. You've been lying to me all this time, Cole said, his voice low but firm. The drinks, the cameras, the deleted footage, it was all you, wasn't it? Adawale's face remained composed, but his eyes flickered. Careful, Donovan. You don't know what you're saying. I know enough, Cole snapped. I should have listened to her from the start. Amara was telling the truth. You poisoned me, didn't you? Adawale's hand twitched slightly, the only hint of panic. I don't know what you mean, he said smoothly. Tunde stepped forward, holding the flash drive that contained the deleted security logs. We have proof, he said. The CCTV footage was erased by you, Chief Adawale. We have all the timestamps and admin access records. You planned this from the start, Adawale's mask cracked, and for a moment, the cruel confidence disappeared. You think you can accuse me with just files? Cole's voice grew louder, echoing through the narrow street. Enough! I've been a fool to trust you. The contracts, the money, the empire, it means nothing if my life isn't safe. And now, everyone will know your truth. At that moment, Cole pulled out his phone and dialed his legal team. Freeze all Adawale's assets. Notify the authorities. Every deal, every account. Lock it. Adawale's face turned pale. His voice trembled slightly. You can't do this. I built this empire for you, Donovan. Cole shook his head slowly. You built nothing. You tried to take everything, and you almost killed me. The only thing you underestimated was her, a poor maid who has more courage than anyone in this city. Amara's eyes widened. She had never expected Cole to speak like this, to stand up to someone so powerful on her behalf. Sir, she whispered. No, Amara, Cole interrupted gently. This is your victory. You saved my life. You saved me from him, and in doing so, you saved me from myself, trusting the wrong people. Suddenly, a car horn blared. Local authorities had arrived, tipped off by Cole's emergency call. Uniformed officers stepped out, approaching Adawale. Chief Adawale, one officer announced, you are under investigation for attempted poisoning and financial fraud. Adawale's composure shattered. This isn't over, he spat. But there was no one to hear him now. Cole turned to Amara. You have my deepest respect, and I promise no one will ever dismiss your courage again. Amara felt tears sting her eyes. I just did what I thought was right, she said softly. And that makes you extraordinary, Cole replied. The sun climbed higher, casting its golden light on the scene. Amara looked at the mansion in the distance, the place where her life had been dismissed, where she had been humiliated, where she had struck a billionaire to save his life. Now, she realized the truth. Courage is not measured by wealth or status, but by the willingness to act when the stakes are highest. Tunde placed a hand on her shoulder. You did it, he said simply. Amara smiled, feeling a strange mixture of relief and pride. For the first time, she knew her life had changed forever, not just because she survived, but because the world had finally seen her bravery. and in the distance, the mansion's towering walls gleamed under the morning sun, reflecting the new balance of justice and truth. The mansion that had once loomed over Amara like a fortress of fear now felt different, smaller somehow, diminished by the truth that had finally come to light. Inside, Mr. Donovan Cole stood before his staff and executives, the remnants of yesterday's chaos still fresh in his mind. The room was filled with anticipation. Everyone sensed that something monumental was about to happen. "Ladies and gentlemen," Cole began, his voice calm but commanding, "I have a confession. Last night, an employee of ours acted in a way that some may have misunderstood. But what she did saved my life, saved this company, and perhaps even saved this city from a disaster we were blind to." A hush fell over the room. Amara, standing quietly at the back, felt her stomach tighten. She hadn't expected this public acknowledgement. Cole's gaze found her. "Amara," he said, walking toward her, "you did what most people would never dare to do. You struck me to save me, a poor maid in a mansion full of people who dismissed you. And yet, your courage spoke louder than anyone else's voice." He paused, then continued. "From this day forward, Amara will oversee staff welfare and operations, ensuring that everyone working in this mansion and beyond is treated with dignity and respect. Her insight, her courage, and her loyalty are qualities we cannot afford to ignore." Gasps and whispers filled the room. Executives exchanged stunned glances. Staff members clapped quietly at first, then louder, as the magnitude of the moment sank in. Outside the mansion, Chief Adewale had been escorted away by the authorities, his empire crumbling in real time. His smooth lies and manipulations could not withstand the weight of truth. Back in the alleyways of Lagos, Amara's mother smiled as her daughter walked past her, her head held high. "You did it, my child," her mother said softly. Amara hugged her tightly. "I only did what I had to," she whispered. In the following weeks, Cole transformed the mansion's culture. Employees felt valued, heard, and protected. Amara worked closely with him, introducing reforms, ensuring fair treatment, and occasionally giving him lessons in humility. "I thought money made people untouchable," Cole admitted one day. "But courage is what truly changes the world." Amara smiled, a gentle warmth in her eyes. "And sometimes, sir, courage comes from the most unexpected places." The press eventually caught wind of the story. Headlines around the world proclaimed, "Poor Maid saves billionaire and changes a fortune forever. Amara's life transformed in ways she had never imagined." She had not only saved a life but also earned recognition, respect, and a voice she had never known she could possess. In the quiet moments, she reflected on the journey, from the stormy night in the mansion to this moment of acknowledgement. Never underestimate someone who acts out of courage. Sometimes the smallest hand can strike the hardest blow for justice. That evening, as the sun set over Lagos, Amara looked out toward the city skyline, feeling the wind on her face. Somewhere far above, the mansion's towering walls gleamed, a symbol not of wealth or power, but of a lesson learned. That truth, bravery and justice always rise, no matter how dark the storm. And for Amara, this was just the beginning of a new life. A life where her actions, her voice, and her courage mattered more than she had ever dreamed. Night had fallen over Lagos, the city lights flickering like 1,000 distant stars. The storm from weeks ago was a memory now, but its echoes lingered. In the streets, in the hearts of those who had witnessed courage, betrayal, and redemption. Inside the mansion, Mr. Donovan Cole sat alone in the grand study, reviewing files and contracts. Yet his thoughts were elsewhere, on Amara, the maid who had struck him to save his life, the girl who had refused to be silenced, and the one person who had reminded him what true courage looked like. The doors creaked open. Amara stepped in, her expression calm but determined. "Sir, you wanted to see me?" she asked softly. Cole looked up, a rare smile touching his lips. "Yes, I wanted to make sure you're okay, that everything is settled." Amara nodded. "It's settled. Adewale's empire is gone, the evidence is public, and the authorities are handling him. But there's something else, something that matters more. Cole raised an eyebrow. What's that? Amara took a deep breath. Justice isn't only about punishing the guilty. It's about protecting the innocent, the powerless, and making sure their voices are heard. Cole leaned back, absorbing her words. Then you've done more than save me. You've saved more than one life. Just as they spoke, the security team reported a commotion at the mansion gates. A car sped through the driveway, throwing up dust and gravel. Everyone tensed. For a moment, fear returned. But it wasn't a threat. It was the people, workers, neighbors, even those who had once doubted Amara's courage, had gathered outside, holding banners of support, cheering her name. Cole stepped outside with her, and the crowd erupted. For the first time, the billionaire and the maid stood side by side, not as master and servant, but as symbols of truth and justice. Chief Adewale, meanwhile, was being led into a police van, his empire crumbling, his power shattered. He spat threats at the crowd, but no one listened. His world had been stripped away by the very courage he had underestimated. Amara looked at Cole, then out at the crowd. Her heart swelled. She had started this journey alone, afraid, powerless. Now she was a voice that could not be ignored. Cole placed a hand gently on her shoulder. Amara, I owe you everything. Not just my life, but the realization that courage, integrity, and truth matter more than wealth, power, or status. Tears formed in her eyes. I didn't do it for thanks, sir. I did it because it was the right thing. Cole nodded. And because of that, the world will know your name. Not just as a maid, not just as a survivor, but as a hero. Lightning flashed on the horizon, a reminder of the storm that had started it all. But this time, there was no fear, only triumph. Amara's journey had begun in the shadow of wealth and power, yet she had emerged not only victorious but unbroken, unafraid and unbowed. The mansion, once a place of fear and deception, now stood as a testament that even the smallest hand can change the course of destiny, that courage can strike harder than any fist of wealth, and that justice, though delayed, can never be denied. And as the city of Lagos slept under the night sky, a single thought echoed in Amara's heart. Never underestimate the power of doing what's right, no matter the cost. For sometimes, a single act of courage can change everything. The world had witnessed it. The billionaire had learned it. And Amara had finally claimed her rightful place in it.